Hello everyone and welcome back once again. In today's video, we'll discuss more on the Nagaland history from the objective point of view. This video will be the part 2 of our Nagaland study series. Today, let us try to understand some of the most important and selected personalities who have contributed and marked a history in Nagaland for being a pioneer in their own respective fields. For the sake of convenience and better understanding, let us try to discuss the topic in the given segment for today. First of all, who is the first governor of Nagaland? The first governor of Nagaland will be Sri Vishnu Shahe. On the 1st of December 1963, Sri Vishnu Shahe, who was also the governor of Assam, took over the additional responsibility of the governor of Nagaland. He served from 1963 till 1968. The first Naga governor among the Nagas, Mr. Hokshe Sema. It was in April 1983 that Hokshe was honored with the appointment of governor of Himachal Pradesh and becoming the fourth governor of the Himachal Pradesh. He served from 1983 till 1986. Next, we have the first chief minister of Nagaland, that is none other than Mr. P. Shilu Ao, and he served from 1963 till 1966. Now let's have a look on the first chairman of the interim body in Nagaland. So the first chairman of the interim body of Nagaland will be Mr. or Dr. Imgongliba Ao, and he served in the year 1961 for a short period of time, that is from the February of 1961 till the August of the same year. Now let's have a look on the first speaker of the Legislative Assembly in Nagaland. So the first speaker of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly will be Mr. T.N. Angami, and he served in the year 1964 till 1966. Next, we have the first education minister of Nagaland among the Nagas. That will be Mr. Mondamo Gidhan, and he served within the year 1964 to 1969. Next, let's have a look on the first Naga graduate among the Nagas. So the first Naga graduate among the Nagas will be Mr. A. Givichusa. He graduated in the year 1924. Next, let's have a look on the first Naga Olympian. So the first Naga Olympian will be Dr. Dalimaran Ao, popularly known as D. Ao. He represented India, becoming the captain of the Indian football team in the year 1948 in the Olympics at London. Now we know that the first Olympian was Dr. D. Dalimaran Ao. Now let's have a look on the first Naga woman Olympian as well. So the first Naga woman Olympian will be none other than Chagravalosuru. He represented India in the field of archery. Next, we have the first Chief Secretary of Nagaland. The first Chief Secretary of Nagaland will be Mr. U.N. Sharma. He served in the year 1967. Next, we have the first Rajya Sabha member from Nagaland. So the first Rajya Sabha member from Nagaland will be Mr. Melupra Viru in the year 1964. As we talk about the first male Rajya Sabha member of Parliament in India, we should also understand the first female Rajya Sabha member from Nagaland. That will be S. Pangnong Gonyak, and she represented Nagaland in the year 2022. Next, we have the first Lok Sabha MP from Nagaland, none other than Dr. S.C. Jamir, and he became the first Lok Sabha MP from Nagaland in the year 1967. Let us also try to understand the first female Lok Sabha MP from Nagaland. that is Rano M. Shaiza. in the year 1977. Now let's have a look on the first president of India to visit Nagaland. So the first president to visit Nagaland will be Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, and he visited in the year 1963. And we should keep in mind that in the year 1963, the 1st of December 1963, Nagaland attained a statehood. So it was Dr. Radhakrishnan in which Nagaland was presided over to become the first, the 16th state in India. Next, we have the first recipient of Padma Shri Award from Nagaland. So the first person or the first Naga to receive this Padma Shri Award will be Sri Haralu, or popularly known as Sri T. Haralu, and he received the Padma Shri Award in the year 1964. Next, we have, before we move on to the next topic, we should keep in mind that Sri Divu T. Haralu received the Padma Shri Award in the year 1964 in the field of civil service. Next, we have the first recipient of Padma Bhushan. So the first Naga to receive this Padma Bhushan will be Rani Kaiden Liu, and she received in the year 1982, and she received this Padma Bhushan in the field of social work. We should also keep in mind that the recent Naga who received the Padma Bhushan will be Dr. S.C. Jamir. He received the Padma Bhushan in the year 2020, and he received in the field of public affairs. Next, let's have a look on the first missionary to the Nagas, or the first missionary to Nagaland. So the first missionary to the Nagaland will be E.W. Clark. He visited in the year 1869. So as we know that the first missionary to Nagaland will be E.W. Clark, who visited in the year 1869. Now let's have a look on the first Baptist missionary to the Nagas. So the first Baptist missionary to the Nagas will be Reverend Miles Bronson. Next, we have the first Naga to play an Indian Premier League. So the first Naga player to play in the Indian Premier League will be Hokkaido Jimomi. Next, we have the first Naga nuclear scientist. So the first Naga nuclear scientist will be Chiryodang Ziliang, who hails from the district of Peren. Next, we have question number 20, the first evangelist to the Nagas. So the first evangelist to the Nagas will be Godhola Babu from the state of Assam. And we should also keep in mind that the first Naga tribe among the Nagas to embrace Christianity will be the Ao Naga tribe. So these are some of the most important and selected personalities who have contributed a lot in the formation of Nagaland, creating a history for being the pioneer in the Nagaland history. So with this, we will wind up our session for today until the next series. Thank you so much for joining this session.